What it is, what is up, what is good, gamers? This is Shonuf71, aka Digadulamite.
That purple bling bling, y'all. That's what I say right here in the spot. Yo.
And your auditory canals are tuned into episode 253 of the Gaming Vessels podcast. Of course, I'm not in the digital studio alone. Along with me, I got my partners in crime. First on deck is Dez, aka the Bay Area Terror, aka the High Res Lover.
That's me.
AKA the Cat Daddy, aka that gamer stepdaddy. How's it going, Des?
Fantastic. Happy to be here with all you fine fellows and all you fine people out there taking the time to listen to us talk about craziness. So thank you so much.
Indeed. And of course, our show's no go without Trader Joe, aka Jabroni Chief.
Yeah, that is me, Jabroni Chief. Yeah.
But you might also know him as the Food Max of gaming, who can maximize your gaming dollar. How's it going?
I've been trying to maximize my dollar. Like Prime Day is coming up, I think, tomorrow, I think. So there's all sorts of shenanigans going on. So at least for like the last week. Yes, record-breaking prices. Oh boy, I picked up a Persona 3 Reload with the statue and all that gobbledygook for like $50. So it's like, cool. Did I really need the statue and all that gobbledygook stuff? Probably not, but the art book
doesn't matter.
Soundtrack, kind of cool. So
doesn't matter.
Yes, it's all part of that bliss, of course. And so, picked up a few things. Looking maybe to pick up whatever shows up at Amazon and other retailers. It's almost like a pseudo Black Friday. I picked up Assassin's Creed Mirage, and I don't know if I maybe paid too much for it. I paid $13.49 for it. You think I paid too much?
Probably.
Assassin's Creed Mirage?
Yes.
I don't think you paid too much for that.
Yeah.
Probably.
Depends if I play it, which probably will cue into our summer backlog bonanza buster, whatever you want to call it. So and I'm looking to maybe buy food for everyone, it seems like. So
we'll talk about that more later.
Yes. But
so
otherwise now.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were done. It's great.
Yeah, everything's been all good in the hood. Just been working a lot. So
cool. How have you been, Kev?
Been good. Just working a lot, and that's really about it. Can't really say nothing too out of the ordinary. But that's going to push us into what is always our first topic on our docket, and that's going to be our playlist and summer backlog update. So let's kick things off with Jabroni. What you been playing, and what's your update looking like?
Well, right now, basically, I've kind of started dabbling in Secret of Mana a little bit. So I played like about an hour of Secret of Mana.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's kind of just been
that counts.
Does count. But the game's on my list. I mean, I'm really thinking about maybe deviating a little bit. Talk about that more in news, but there's some games in news that it's like, oh, I haven't played that. There's like games in development, sequels and stuff that I'm like, rubbing my chin. Oh, maybe I could do that. Kind of transition over on that. Secret of Mana has been okay. The new music that they put in the game is kind of jarring. I'm so used to that SNES like music with that particular game that I put it on the original soundtrack like immediately after hearing the orchestrated or the remix soundtrack. But if you never play Secret of Mana, it's like a 3-player co-op like action RPG from the Super Nintendo days from Square Enix on there, and great music from back in the day. I remember playing it quite a bit, but I never beat the game on the Super Nintendo, so that's why I kind of want to dive in and play this. So I'm gonna see if I could kind of book some time because it seems like all I want to do is just go back and play more Diablo 4. It seems like I'm now relishing the fact that I am in World Tier 3, that I am going and looking at the map like the crack-addled fiend I am, and looking at all the gray spots on the map that I haven't uncovered, look at all the circles of the side quests that I wanted to do, but, kind of put the blinders on, and kind of in a way I should be like kind of moving myself towards World Tier 4 versus doing all the side content. So it's like
play the game you want to play,
Yeah. So, but I'm gaining better gear. I'm slowly like re-engineering my build on there. Playing more with the Paragon board. I had to kind of figure out how to open up a new Paragon board and to be able to redeem it and be able to go from there to orient the Paragon board, because I guess you could go ahead and once you redeem a new portion of the Paragon board, you're able to position it in a particular way. Like you have an orientation of 4 different ways on there. So got to kind of figure that out for the first time. But did some Hell Tides a little bit too. Nothing too major. The Diablo 4 is the kind of game where I put on like at 11 o'clock at night and play until I start getting tired or sleepy. It's like, and I don't want it to be that game. I want it to be engaging and keep me awake. But there's a certain rhythmic pattern in that game sometimes that will kind of lull you to sleep, like Kevin kind of alluded to him playing Diablo 3 a little bit back in the day. So. Also played on game night quite a bit. I played the first Descendant a bit, so I got into that game. It's like Nexon basically created a Dollar Tree version of a mash between Destiny and Warframe on there. And
so Dollar Tree mash, wow.
Yeah, it's the Dollar Tree.
Woo.
Dollar Tree business down there. So you don't want to play the actual, True Blue. You want to go and go get your, kind of mashup if need be. It's almost like they're,
in a Dollar Tree. Like I think that's all right.
Oh, I've been playing a little bit. I know you've been playing a little bit more. Am I being too harsh in my metaphors over here?
No, I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, it's no, not really. Like I'll let you have it, but geez, it's just a little harsh,
Yeah. I thought the shooting was okay, but I don't think it's as good as Destiny, I think, and I don't want to hold it up to that tier because they're different games necessarily, but, it's hard to see to where, where maybe I need to play the game a little bit more and get into the loop on there, because I know there's a lot of loop involving as far as, developing, grabbing guns. Like it kind of reminds me of Warframe, and because of the fact that you're constantly throwing stuff to be developed and checking back on it after a certain period of time and so on and so forth. And I haven't really gave the game a good shake. I played it on game night this past Tuesday, and I haven't gone back to it since. I think I played a little bit of it this past Wednesday, but after that I kind of settled back into some Diablo 4, and so I know Des, you've been playing a lot more. I could maybe transition you to talk about the first Descendant a little bit more, maybe articulate it a little bit more to kind of maybe give your opinion on it, and maybe tell me I need to basically play the game more and learn a little bit more. I know I kind of missed the fact that I haven't been playing with you because you've been you're higher level, and so you're just saying like, no, I'm working on this or I'm working on that. So maybe that's where maybe it hasn't hooked me in as much. So
well, you are a person who really enjoys multiplayer games, so nothing wrong with that. You like you like that style of play, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you want me to take over now?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I've been playing these last couple of weeks. So.
Yeah, cool. So basically with the first Descendant, you were 100% right. It is literally I hate the term Dollar Tree, but it's so hilarious because it's kind of apropos, so I can't really be mad at it. To be completely honest with you, I can't really be mad at it. But yeah, it is a mashup of Warframe and Destiny, in that you basically it's a grind fest. It's a looter shooter. And you start with 3 characters, and you grind up to unlock other characters. And people say that, by people I mean people who are in the, I want to say now, but people who basically talk about pay to win, or it's pay to progress. It's one of those games that you can basically just buy what you want outright if you're willing to spend the money, because it's a free game, and or you can just play through and play it and grind. Some grinds are harder than others. I do think that they have adjusted some of the drop tables, because some of the drop tables seem to be supposed to be 20% to get certain pieces. You need 4 pieces to unlock another descendant, and sometimes it seems like people were playing it for hours for like a 20% drop, and it hasn't even fall. So something is going on with that. So you got to kind of look at all that when you're talking about playing a game for free, and see what your time is worth. The story, full on sci-fi type of story, interdimensional evil, which brought along giant monsters called colossi. So you have your faction that you're fighting against, and you have your giant monsters that you're fighting against. So that's the thing. And each area you go to it's like a region, and it's a sandbox region. It's not open world. It's a sandbox region. You go to different points to unlock missions within that region. Then you usually do a big mission, and then you rinse and repeat. That is it. And there's various different types of missions you do in that area. So yeah, I can see where people might be getting bored with it a little bit, because it is sort of a rinse and repeat, and you have to grind in order to get the newer characters to unlock them. And there's other activities that you can do as well. But overall, I do think that it's a solid game. It's no better or worse than any other free to play game that would be of its competitors, like Warframe or any other free to play game. Although I don't play a lot of free to play games, but if you like that loop and you like the freedom just to go and play the game, just to waste time, or even if you're liking the story, you can't go wrong with this game, because number one, it's free, and you decide how much you want to play in. You decide how much you want to grind. You decide if you want to continue to play it or not. And I think that's the best part about games like this, is if you have enough space on your hard drive, try it out. If you like it, play it for a little while. If you feel you got an extra bonus and you need to give them $10 for a battle pass, go ahead. If you want to spend the money because you really think someone looks cool, it's up to you. Take ownership of your gameplay. Take ownership of what you're going to play and what you're going to do. It's fine. Have fun with it if you want. And I think that's how I'm looking at it. So, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying my time with it. Will it be my forever game that I'm going to play all the time? Absolutely not. But for right now, it's the new hotness, and I'm enjoying it. So I'll stick with it. Another game that I've been playing that's a free game that hasn't really hit me as hard as the First Descendant is a Zenless Zone Zero. I downloaded it and started playing it, and it is flashy as hell. And it is, I think its transformation mechanic is a lot better than the other one. The first one Miyoverse put out. What's it called, Joe? The first one?
What, Genshin Impact?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit better than Genshin, only because the way you transition is so cool. Like you build up this meter, and then you hit the 2 bumpers, and then you immediately turn into another character, hops in. It's like one of those moves from Street Fighter versus X-Men or whatever, where the second person would jump in and do a move and then jump out, or you'd stay that person. It's sort of like that. Single player game, and it's nothing to write home about. It's dripping with style and coolness, but that beguiles a very easy sort of game that you can play and open up and start unlocking. Again, it's another grind game. It's free. If you want to play it, go ahead. This one does not take itself seriously. Like this is the joke game. You got Genshin, which is like, the fantasy, high fantasy. We're doing this, we're doing that. It's beautiful. Then you have your, Honkai Star Rail, which is another sort of like, turn based, but it's very nice and everyone's, having fun. And then this one is complete and utter nutters. It's just a silly ass game. All of the designs, the character designs, the combat, it's just a giant, almost like a comic book. And I have to say that out of all of the designs for the gotcha characters, I still think that this one, I'm sorry, but this one is the weakest out of all of them. The way that they look, it's like fantasy urban, but some of the worst parts about it. Everyone looks, that there's like an emo girl with like a scythe, and there's like a guy who's like a furry wolf with like kicks and stuff, and there's a bear, and it's like over the top for the sake of being over the top, and they're adding and they're super cool, because it's Japanese and it's got like urban beats and stuff. Although the music is pretty good, but that one didn't capture me as much, and I played a good like two solid hours of it. Got through the first opening, and and I was like, okay, it's not bad, but it wasn't pulling me like the first Ascendant was. So I don't know if I'm gonna play it. It's definitely not as good as Honkai Star Rail. I'll tell you that right now. But again, Honkai Star Rail, that's a turn-based type of game, and I really like the turn-based combat and how it looks. This one is all flashy, all style with very little substance. But again, I'm only at the beginning, so maybe there's more to it. But we'll see. I definitely will end up playing it a little bit more. Now, as far as my summer backlog blowout, I've been playing Sea of Stars. I didn't want to start any of my other games for fear that I will forget about Sea of Stars and not finish it. So I've been sticking to one game and one game only that I've been playing for my backlog, and I just play the other games when I'm hanging out with Joe. That's why I haven't played Diablo 4 or any of the other ones, because I have my multiplayer game, and I have the game that I'm playing for this challenge, this blowout that we're doing. And I'm happy to say that I'm more than halfway through it, and I probably, if I continue at the pace I'm going, I should be finished within the week. And I will post that on the rolling credits as well as in the summer backlog blowout section. I will let everyone know that I have completed it. So I'll say 1 of 5. I'll be that much closer to my free meal. And yes, Joe, I will be getting a free meal from you. I can almost feel it in my bones. So, but that's it for me. So I'll kick it over to Kev, buddy. What have you been playing? And how's your backlog going?
So I've been doing well. As far as the games I've been playing Helldivers 2. Since this last update, I mean, like, I've been struggling with Helldivers 2. Like, I can complete main objectives, but I can't extract. I always get killed during the extraction. I'm running solo because, like I said, I don't play with randos. It hasn't been a pleasant experience. But there's a new loadout meta since things have kind of gotten rebalanced, and that is running with the what do they call the Dominator, which is basically this. It's a rifle that shoots basically like a rod, like an explosive rod, and it just wrecks bugs. It's always been one of my favorite weapons. The only problem with it is that it's very poor. It's got very poor maneuverability, so you almost have to use a armor set that gives you 30% aiming in or maneuverability increase while crouching or prone. So that's what I have been doing. But with this latest war bond that they released, it basically kind of looks like something out of G.I. Joe. It's like it gives your dude like camoed arms and some kind of, he looks like a cross between a Cobra trooper and and the GI Joe
Oh,
basically. And that armor set has what they call it. What did I say? I was just about to say it's called uh, uh, hyper fitness or hyper something. And basically, hyper fitness lets you run for a longer period of time, and it basically gives you that 30%. It might even be a little bit higher than 30. Weapon maneuverability, whether you're standing or prone or crouched. So, and that is what makes the Dominator more usable with that armor set. So I've been using that in conjunction with the grenade launcher as the assisting, what do they call that, the assist weapon, or weapon assist, whatever they call it, secondary weapon, and coupling that with the ammo pack. And I saw this loadout demonstrated on a YouTube channel. I would say which one it was if I could remember, but I can't. This was not something I came up with by any means. This is something I saw on YouTube. And while I cannot extract, I'm able to complete the main objectives and almost clear the map when I'm playing against bugs using this loadout. It's great. And basically, you just run around blowing bugs up. You need the ammo pack because both the Dominator and the grenade launcher are kind of ammo hogs. They don't carry a whole lot, but with the ammo pack, it kind of evens it out. And you still have access to the resupply stratagem. So even if you're running short with your backpack, you can always call in a resupply. But what I found works a little bit better for me is, although the Dominator's great, I love the Dominator, I think the Breaker works a little bit better for me, particularly when bugs get too close. For whatever reason, the Dominator does not really focus well on up close targets. It's a mid-range primary weapon, and as long as you keep everything kind of within a little bit past the arm's distance, it just chews through bugs like nothing else. But the minute they get too close, there's an aiming issue with the Dominator. With the Breaker, which is a shotgun, which is the semi-auto shotgun, just die. The bugs just get turned into a whole lot of bug juice. And the Breaker's shortcoming is that it does not have a whole lot of ammo. But again, if you're carrying the ammo pack and with your resupplies that you get, regardless of what your loadout is, it's not that big of a problem. So I think that is going to be my new meta for the game. I had been running with the flamethrower with a flame-based loadout, and 9 times out of 10 I kill myself with that flamethrower. The flamethrower is probably still the best loadout to utilize against the bugs, because fire attacks on bugs is still probably king. But again, I'm not that good of a player at this game, and more often than not, I wind up killing myself in the fire that I created. So, but yeah, still playing that, trying to basically what I'm doing with the bugs is trying to earn enough medals and metal currency to get the weapons that are meta for the automatons, and then start messing with them. But I don't want to go to the automatons at this skill level without having the meta weapons for that, because it's just the automatons are no joke. They're far worse than fighting the bugs, in my opinion. So if you're not running with the meta and with the automaton, just like you're almost wasting your time. Playing Fate Samurai Remnant, and I've made it. I'm pretty far. I'm not going to say that I'm at the end scenarios, but I can see where things are starting to tie up. I've confronted and beat two servants and two masters already, and I'm getting ready to face a third. I'll probably wind up having to fight my quote unquote friends that have been helping me along the way. I can see where that's going to come into play at this point in the story. Surprisingly deep for a Muso. The only part that I'm not really understanding, not really getting, are the sword mounts, because I'm not really seeing a benefit for using them. I'm getting much more of a benefit by filling out Saber's and Iori's skill tree than I am fiddling and trying to figure out the mount system. They don't do a good job of explaining it, and I really haven't cared enough to look it up on YouTube to see if I'm missing out on something. I'm getting along just fine without really messing with the mounts, with the sword mounts. So I'm just gonna keep rocking with what I'm doing. The other game I've been playing is I restarted Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, and I have now made it past where I left off in my original game save. So what I'm doing now is I'm starting to work on the side quests. I completed my first side quest last night, and I'm just going to kind of focus on the side quests for now, just so I can gain the in-game resources to build out the characters that I'm going to be using. One thing that I had forgotten was how much of a pain in the ass the snow monster is, which is like level 6. I forgot how much of a pain that thing is so cheap. That was really the first challenge that I had in that game. But what I didn't have the first time I went through, although I had access to her, but I didn't utilize her. I had Lamia, who is the chick with the katana blade. She's got the sheep horns, and she carries a katana. And I really hadn't figured her. By the time I got to that, I really hadn't figured her movesets out. But with this playthrough, by the time when I gained access to her through the ship cards, I picked her up and I said, okay, I'm just going to figure out how her moveset works, because it's super simple, but it kind of throws you off initially, because she is I would almost call her an install character, meaning that you have to change stances to gain access to some moves, but the highest damaging moves that she has access to, you don't actually have to execute, you just have to change stance. And that's what initially threw me off. So like she has what they call, I think it's the butterfly stance, and then I can't remember what the other stance is. You can tell which stance she's in, whether she has a blue aura or a red aura around her. And as she does damage, she gains these ethereal butterflies, and these butterflies increase the damage of her special attacks as well as her stance shift attacks. And the way you maximize her damage is when she completes a butterfly combo, which is when she's blue aura, you tap the stance change button, and it automatically does a finisher. But the neat thing about that is once you get to the last frames of the finisher, if you switch back to the butterfly stance, she will do like a critical hit. And this is all automatic. You're not really doing anything. You can either once you and you can either continue on with her butterfly combos, which don't end. If you keep doing that, as long as you're not hit, you are just stacking on crits. It's ridiculous. When you switch to her secondary stance, again, I can't remember what it's called. It's just when she has the red aura. Once she does that combo finisher, if you hold down the attack button, she does an attack that basically within almost a 360-degree radius around her will attack any enemies that are in that area. And it's like an area attack, but it's a sword attack. It's super dope. The neat thing about doing that when you're at the end of a combo finisher is that it's twice as fast, meaning that instead of I don't know how the rate when you just hold the attack button and you see the range of the attack displayed on the ground, and it moves. It's not slow, but it goes at a steady pace. When you execute it when you do that at the end of a combo, it's like super quick. And that's really how you pile on the damage. So instead of using Gran, I used Lamia, and she turned that thing into dice. It just was not a problem. And I had her in my party. But I wasn't controlling her. This time when I played through and I got to that snow monster, it's not even it was no thing but a chicken wing using her. So I like using Gran, but Gran is very basic, and he's supposed to be like the all-rounder, and I get it, but I might just go ahead and finish the game just using Lamia, because she is just a blast to play as. So outside of that, I marathon the last 3 episodes of My Adventures with Superman. So
fantastic.
I'm all set for the season finale next week. The only thing the only thing I didn't like, and my only criticism, is that this week's episode ended like a Shonen Jump manga. It was like, oh, the power of love, the power of friendship. Is like, I thought this was Naruto for a quick second. It is like, okay, really?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say anything, but yeah, that's like, exactly what happened.
Okay, somebody is a Shonen Jump fan. I mean, it's a critique, but it was just kind of corny. They're punching through the shield, and I'm like, okay, all right, okay. Gotta believe. Okay, I see I see what we're doing here. But other than that, that's really been my only critique of the show for the 2 seasons that it's been on. And for someone who really doesn't care for Superman at all, that's a whole lot of praise, just from someone like me, that the show can get me to even care about that character. So kudos to that team. I can't wait to see where the next seasons go, and hopefully it continues. Personally, I'd like to see them bring Zod into it some kind of way.
They probably will.
Maybe not necessarily with the traditional angle that Zod has been in. I would like to kind of put their own spin on it, because they've kind of put their own spin on just about every character in this show, and I kind of appreciated that. So been having a lot of fun with that. So I'm all caught up there. And the last thing I'll talk about is so this was just something that I just found completely by accident. So there's this company called Spira, and they make water pistols, electric water pistols. And it was just like this was like one of those weird unintentional purchases that you make. And I saw a video of it on it was on Amazon. I watched a video of it, and I was like, wait a minute, this thing can't be that good, right? I mean, it's like this is probably some cheap Chinese product that, you know, that's being drop shipped, and, you know, you get it and it's like it barely produces more water than those cheap little see-through plastic things you used to get at the toy store back in the 80s. I'm like, this it can't be that good. So I looked at the video on Amazon, and then I found the company website, and I was just like, oh, this thing is nuts. And I wound up buying one. When I bought it, they were doing their intro to summer sale, so there was a deep discount on it. I probably would not have purchased it at its original price, but basically what a Spira is, it is a heavy plastic electric water gun. And it's got a built-in battery. You charge the battery using a USB-C plug that it ships with. You charge it up, and it doesn't take more than like maybe like on initial charge up, it's probably like maybe an hour, maybe a little bit less. And you dip the tip of this gun into a water source. It doesn't recommend that you use pool water due to the chemical content and whatnot, but I've been using it in the pool, but I've only used it in the pool like a couple of times, and probably any other times I use it, I'm just going to use water from the tap because I don't want to mess anything up. And basically this thing is exactly what it's described as. It is a electric water machine gun. This thing sprays water in a pattern that makes it look like a bullet. No kidding. It has a range of about 40 feet. Again, no kidding. This thing is like one of the dopest things I've come across like lately. You can't fully submerge it because it does have electronic parts. You just have to dip the tip in, giggity, and it'll suck the water in, and it's got an electric counter that counts from 0 to 100. The numbers don't really mean anything. It's just a way for it to simulate ammo. When it gets down to 50, it's half full. When it gets down to 0, it's empty. It's got several different modes of fire. It's got semi-automatic, one trigger pull, one water bullet. It's got burst fire, which is about three rounds with each trigger pull, and it's got full auto, what they call league play. They don't call it fire rate. They call it because they don't. There's no way you would confuse this thing with a real firearm. This thing is made out of plastic. The color variant I have is red and white. The other one that they have is blue and white. Only an idiot would think that this is a real gun, but I understand the reason for the labeling, the change. They call them game modes instead of rates of fire. But I understand why they do it, because we live in crazy world. But this is like one of the neatest products that nobody really needs, and it's a super dope product. It is. I can see myself maybe getting another one, when my nieces and nephews come over, just grab a couple of buckets, fill it with water from the tap, and just let them go to town with that. This thing is a blast, like literally.
Do you chase wifey around with it?
Oh no, she don't. She is not gonna play with that. No,
you ain't gonna mess with my hair.
Exactly.
Take it outside.
No. This is not for that.
That's cool.
But just kind of hanging around. There are these ducks that come to the pool like every so often. We call it Rick James and Tina Marie.
Oh, there you go.
And these ducks come in, and you think, oh, what's wrong with having ducks? And it's like, well, the problem is that they poop, and their poop clogs over time will clog your filtration system in your pool. So you don't want ducks hanging around your pool. So I'm kind of waiting for them to show up, so I can get them. I can get out. And these things are brazen, because they almost know that you don't want to hurt them. So they will just, when you run around the pool, and you can yell and scream and shout, and they'll just swim to the other side and just kind of look at you and quack. And then when you go over to the other end, they'll swim to the other side. You have to like, I have a pool brush with an extended pole, and I have to literally try to hit them to get them to fly out of the pool. So the next time they show up, I'm gonna break out the Spira, and
there you go.
Pow, pow, pow.
Yeah, and
ducks better run
and see how they dig that. So, but that's it for what I have been up to this past couple of weeks. So we're going to move on to our next topic on the docket, and that's going to be the vessel line. All right, Des, you got the mic, my friend.
All righty. So last vessel line, Joe asked the question, with the rumor that Sony will be bringing out PlayStation 3 games on PlayStation 5, what games would you want to play again on your PS5? Give us your top 3 PS3 games or franchises that you want to fire up again or play for the first time. We had a pretty good discussion. If you want to hear what we said, please go back and listen to the last episode. But we have a couple of listeners who had some really interesting stuff to say. First and foremost, we had John BT saying, honestly, all the best PS3 games I can think of are already available on PS4 or 5. Yeah, it's true. I could maybe see playing the Ratchet and Clank games, but that's about it. All those games are really great. So I thought about that too when I was thinking about mine. That said, my top 3 PS5 games are Last of Us, Batman Arkham Asylum, and Journey. Oh, interesting about Journey. Journey was the most unique with the multiplayer where other players end up in your game, but you can't really communicate or anything. And it was just a beautiful experience and fun to play. I agree. I played it and beat it. It's not that it's a very long game, but I think it's a very strong game. Really fun. Crucial Chase says, 50 Cent, Blood on the Sand, and Darkness give me those B-tier games. You know what? It's funny that you bring that up because, again, I'm a comic book, reader, and I love it. And that whole Darkness Witchblade saga was fantastic. And the fact that they brought out a Darkness game, I think they actually brought out a Darkness 2 game too, I think. And
yeah.
Yeah, and they're from those comic books, and Witchblade is getting re-released. We got a new Witchblade coming. So if you like those comics, go ahead and check it out because that stuff is back, babies. Never played 50 Cent Blood on the Sand. I know it's like super expensive right now for some reason. I think isn't it like super crazy right now? I don't know why, but I think Joe has it. So
I actually don't have it actually. So
Well, I'm surprised, but
it's actually
hit that ramp.
It is some of the most cringe and hilarious dialogue in any game that you will ever hear. It is almost worth buying to play through it once because the dialogue is just so It is so
That's
bad.
Well, do you know I think the plot of the game is that 50 does a concert, gets paid in this crystal skull or something, and someone steals the crystal skull,
Yeah.
and so he has to go retrieve the crystal
It's
skull.
a diamond skull. Yeah.
Diamond skull? Okay.
It's a diamond
So
skull.
to get his money. So to get his money,
He's got to get his money.
he got to regulate on
Or
fools.
die trying.
Oh Lord. Okay. Well, hey, I think if they were able to put at least that game, the
It's a
Darkness
Gears ripoff is basically what it is. Gears
the Darkness. There you go. Gears or what ripoff? I'm sorry.
Gears of War.
Oh, okay. For Darkness, it was a first-person game, and I never really got into first-person games until much later in life. So I definitely kind of like to go back. And plus, it's a comic book movie or type of adaptation, so I kind of would be interested to see what that is. But yeah, I think either of those games coming back would be really kind of fun, especially because the Blood on the Sand is so expensive right now. So yeah, I would definitely say, like, Sony execs, if you're listening, which you probably are, I know, you should bring those games back and let us play them. I think it would be fantastic, and we really need those in our life. We need more Fiddy in our life, right? We need more Fiddy, hitting the jump, right, Joe?
Yeah,
hitting the ramp,
and the darkness too, of course.
In the ramp, in the darkness, and yeah, but yeah, those are the questions. Go, I'm sorry, good.
Oh, unknown fact that the Darkness and Darkness 2, that the main character is voiced by Mike Patton of all people on there, the lead singer of Faith No More. So
yeah, did Mike Patton do the voice of Bionic Commando too?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
See, I actually thought Bionic Commando wasn't that bad. There was a couple like Journey to the West, that one, that other one, or Enslaved, which was the one that Andy Serkis did the motion capture for. I like that game.
Yeah.
And like all these little weird things that happened, and the games back then were a little crazy.
Yeah, that might be a main event vessel line. Like, what's your favorite B tier games?
Yeah.
So.
But yeah. Maybe we could do it. You want us to be B tier actors?
We could definitely maybe talk about B tier games in our summer backlog buster too. So I have to check to see if any of those games are 15 hours or under.
I'm sure they are. For whatever reason, I think some of the games back then were kind of long-winded though. So
yeah, so it depends.
Yeah, but yeah, thank you so much, you guys, John BT and Crucial Chase, for sitting there and sending in those responses. Also, please note that if you want to answer this question, even though it's past, or you hear a question on one of our former episodes or prior episodes, and you want to answer that, definitely join our Discord. It's free. Send us an email. Let us know your thoughts, and we'll definitely mention them on the air as well. Again, this is stuff to get the community talking, because we really like interacting with our community. Same thing when we do our game nights. This is all about being very community driven. So please, feel free to let us know your thoughts on what we're talking about, and join us, because we're here to talk about games with gamers, because we're gamers too. So, but what follows me? It's the Jabroni Gaming News.
All right. Thank you so much, Des.
You're welcome, sir.
All right. In the last 2 weeks, we had some big news for Xbox. So, unfortunately, just like with every service known to man, there has to be some sort of price increase. And so there was a price increase for Xbox Game Pass on here, just like with PlayStation Plus. About, let's say, 6 months ago to a year ago, they had a bump up in price. Microsoft is raising the price of Xbox Game Pass, and they're introducing a new subscription tier that does not include day one releases. So on July 10th, the platform holder's top Game Pass Ultimate tier, which includes PC Game Pass Day 1 games, back catalog titles, online play, and cloud gaming, is increasing to $19.99 a month on there. PC Game Pass will also increase in price to $11.99 and include all current benefits, including Day 1 releases. Microsoft said starting this past week, which was last week, it will retire its Xbox Game Pass for the console tier for new users. So if you happen to be grandfathered in with the regular Game Pass, not Game Pass Ultimate, you are in, but it's going to be replaced by a new $14.99 standard tier, which basically gives you access to a back catalog of games and online play, but you do not get day one releases. The noted, Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, and all these other titles that are coming day one on Xbox, you do not get those with the $14.99 standard Xbox Game Pass on console.
That is despicable.
Kind of confusing in a way because you have to get the ultimate version to be able to go ahead and get the day one games on there. So Microsoft says some games available with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate on day one will not be immediately available on Xbox Game Pass Standard and may be added to the library at a future date. I know some noted voices in the Xbox community, including the Paris we referenced here from Gamertag Radio, was asking Microsoft as far as is there going to be a set month structure or year structure when these games are going to come to regular Game Pass for console, and they basically said it just depends on the game. So they have basically decided that they are not going to take these day one titles and have some sort of set schedule for them to drop onto regular Game Pass, but that it'll be on a title by title basis on there. So say, for instance, Indiana Jones drops, you just have regular Xbox Game Pass for console, and you do not get that game day one. You're going to have to wait a little bit for it to drop into your subscription. So other than that, I mean, if you want to pay the extra $5 a month, and $5 a month actually is not too bad in that instance. I just think it's very confusing. That's it. So on there. So users currently subscribed to Game Pass for console will be allowed to maintain their subscription, including access to day one games. So if you're in, you're in. If you haven't gotten in, too bad, so sad. So if anytime these users turn off their automatic payment renewal or the membership lapses, they will no longer have access to Game Pass for console and will need to join one of the other plans on there. So also, September 12th is the date that it will allow users to stack Xbox Game Pass for console for only up to 13 months. Previously, you were able to stack up to 3 years in subscriptions on there. That's why me and Des, we took a flight to Argentina for a little bit, and we went ahead and renewed our Game Pass Ultimate subscription on there. So, and flew back, very happy. Of course.
I was happy.
But and Microsoft did state that, said, we created Game Pass to offer players more choice in how they discover and play games. That includes offering different prices and plans so players can find what works best for them and be more confused. So this month's price changes marks the second consecutive year Microsoft has raised Game Pass prices, months after the company dismissed suggestions that, oh my God, it could raise prices following its $69 billion merger with Activision Blizzard. So later this year, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 will be launched onto Game Pass day one. But obviously when they commented to the Federal Trade Commission, they said, oh no, this acquisition would not cause any sort of increase to Game Pass at all. But lo and behold, here we go on there. So, and then to add more, attention to what Xbox, where it wants to go, they did have a new advertisement that they threw up on YouTube, probably out in the ether being advertised. But basically, they are advertising that you could play Xbox now on your Amazon Fire TV stick. So don't have an Xbox? Don't worry. You could subscribe to Game Pass Ultimate and play all your favorite Xbox games on your favorite screen or device on there. So I'll have to take a look. The ad had a woman being like crank called on there by someone that sounded like Master Chief, talking about do you want to play Xbox? I don't have an Xbox. You have an Amazon Fire Stick. So,
Okay.
it was pretty cringe. pretty cringe. I'm going to take my word for it, but yeah. So we have a new way for you guys out there that maybe don't want to buy an Xbox. We kind of are been a little bit critical of Microsoft as of late. So, I mean, if you have an Amazon Fire Stick and you want to mess with streaming, you have a good enough internet connection, who knows? Maybe you'll be able to play all your favorite Microsoft Game Studios, Bethesda Game Studios bangers on there for just the price of a monthly subscription. Who knows? But, my opinion of this, I mean, I turned on my Xbox for the first time in I think 3 months the other day. I just wanted to kind of see what was on there, delete games that left Game Pass that I never played, and then download some new games. I know that they have a couple of games coming out this month on Game Pass I'm actually interested in playing. Dungeons of Hinterberg and Flintlock on there. I haven't really committed to buying Flintlock, even though I thought about it for PlayStation, so it might be something I could check out. And then the Kurigami, the new Capcom game that's coming out, I think, on Tuesday. That kind of weird Japanese-inspired tower defense game is also going to be on Game Pass. So, I mean, they got a few things going on, at least from what I can see. But it's the first time I've actually turned on my Xbox in months. I don't know when's the last time either of you two may have turned on your Xbox. But I'll go to you first, Kev. What's your overall opinion of all this, and what's your right now current prospect for Xbox for you in the future?
Well, this shouldn't be a surprise. I mean, they're adding, you might as well just call this the Call of Duty tax. I mean, Call of Duty is a $1 billion franchise every year it comes out. And you're going to tell me that you're going to be able to play this, get access to this game for what, $14, $12 a month, whatever it was on console before. There's no way. The math is not going to work. The math ain't mathing. And to be honest, I guarantee you the top tier of Game Pass is going to go up again, just like every other service. If folks think that this is the last price increase they're going to see, I've got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. And it just goes back to you can't get Ruth Chris on a dollar menu for a dollar menu price. You can't. If people find this bad, if people find this poor, start buying your games. That's the only thing that will make sense. Buy your games. As far as the streaming thing on Amazon TV, I don't know anybody. I just don't know anybody who has a desire to play games. And I'm not talking about like Candy Crush or any of the other what you would call normie style casual games. I don't know anybody. If you have a desire to play Starfield, you either got the console or you've got a PC. I just don't see people who otherwise had not even considered a console, otherwise not even considered using their PC to play games. If they do play games, it's on their phone, it's on their tablet, and maybe they do it while waiting in a doctor's office or a dentist's office or whatever, so, as a time killer for something else that they need to get done. Those type of people do not care about Starfield. They don't care about Forza. They don't care about Doom. They don't care about Call of Duty. I just don't see who these access points are for. That's the weird thing. Those type of people would balk at spending $60 to get an Xbox controller, even if they already have the Amazon. I gotta spend $60 to get a controller. I don't want to spend that kind of money. They're used to spending, $2, $3, $5 over time in Candy Crush and not thinking about their credit card bill, because it just seems like so little over the course of time. I don't know. If they can make it work, they'll make it work, but it just seems very weird to me.
Yeah, it's
I
only
agree.
available on the Fire TV Stick 4K Max or the Fire TV Stick 4K. So it's not every Amazon Fire Stick that has the capacity to be able to play. It's only available on those two for now. And then also it's similar to the one that's on Samsung TVs on there. So, we'll see how prevalent that is. I know there was another news story too. I didn't have in the outline, but kind of along the same lines that they're de-emphasizing consoles in at least the European markets for Xbox. They gotten some, like at least guidelines for some retail outlets that basically they're emphasizing controllers, the Fire TV Stick, the app on Samsung TVs. And also a PC to be able to play Xbox, so because that's notoriously like the territory that in Japan that just Microsoft hasn't been strong in a long, long time. So
And it's like,
I kind of
get out of the console business. It's like
yeah.
I don't understand. I don't know. They can.
They're in it, but they're not in it. It's like their retail presence has kind of just been muted, even in the US. I go to Walmart and the Xbox section, as far as in electronics, just it's bare bones and stuff is just sitting there. And Xbox traditionally is the platform that's on clearance the quickest, usually. Which for me, being this Food Max of gaming, I mean, I could buy all the Xbox games I want for pennies on the dollar, but do I want to? I don't know. Not my business. And I know Des, it's like, you can have the Xbox Series S, you can't even buy game discs, so it doesn't really even matter anymore for you. So
Nope, it does not.
yeah. Any thoughts on any of this, Des, or pretty much we've kind of beat that Xbox drum to death?
Oh, no, I just think that this is 100%, accurate as to what is to be expected. I mean, Kev said it the best. You can't get this on what you were wanting to spend it. You just can't. So,
yeah,
so just accept it and move on, I guess. I mean, that's really the only thing I can kind of say is just kind of like accept it as part of, the as part of the, what is it called, the cost to play, and go on about your business. I mean, I don't know. It just seems that people just don't want to think logically or rationally about what possibly could happen. It's like this is what was going to happen.
Yeah.
It's like I just hope people are surprised by it.
I'm gonna have to see where I'm at once that my subscription runs out for Game Pass, as far as because we've talked about. I was looking at my Series X possibly as just running emulation on there too. Yeah. So I was thinking that might be a possible option. So
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what people are gonna do, but I hope they're able to find some way to make it work for them. Because right now, I don't know. I feel bad for them. Like, I really do kind of feel bad for folks, who really were like, oh, this is gonna be okay, and this is, and knowing that, nope, sorry.
Actually, I don't, because it just doesn't make sense on its face. How are you going to make money by you are de-emphasizing you're building up your subscription service, and you are de-emphasizing the importance of going out to retailers, brick and mortar, on websites and buying games. You're even de-emphasizing going into the Microsoft marketplace and buying digitally. You want people plugged in to this funky subscription service. Make it make sense. How are you going to maintain 200 million, 150 million, $300 million worth of investment just to put a AAA game together and then expect that you're going to be making a profit by offering it at $17 a month.
Well, they expected
It
that more
doesn't
people
make
would join it.
But they're not.
Exactly.
They're not. They're not. And anybody paying attention, even the slightest bit, would say you need people to go out there and spend that money to buy them games, to spend that 60, $70. You're not going to get it by trying to get all these people to jump in to your subscription service. Games are not movies. Games are not TV shows. It doesn't operate under that same business model.
No, but they wanted to.
Well, it's like I can want to win the lottery tomorrow. Is it going to happen? No.
Yeah.
At some point you just have to look at the reality. Now, this is $1 trillion company, but at some point your investors are going to be like, "Yo, where's our return on investment?"
I think that's what they're doing now. And that's why we're going to see a lot more changes. They're probably going to be raising the prices. They're probably going to be adding, more tiers or something, because they have to work within the system that they created, and they're going to have to find a way to do that.
And the people could have stopped it by saying, no, we're not going to subscribe to this because this is stupid. Why are we you're not going to get these games that you want to play in a subscription service and expect them to be at the quality you've come to expect. It just does not make sense. So I don't know. I don't feel sorry for them in the least, because people were trying to, and when I say people, I mean people that study the industry, people that don't have a dog in this race, people that are as unbiased as possible, quote unquote, offering an independent viewpoint on the market. And these folks just called them, ponies and fanboys and tried to dox them. No, I really don't feel sorry for them at all. This is the bed you made.
Be still or hurt, Desmond. We have access until at least into 2026. So
thank gosh.
I know. So we'll see what happens. So yeah, hopefully at that point it wouldn't cost like $25 to renew a month. So we'll have to see. So,
this thing would have to cost like $40 to make it make any sense.
We'll see. All right. Next news topic on the docket is about a game that's near and dear to one of our hosts' heart. Double Dragon is getting a new title from Arc System Works. So it's being worked on by the development house Yuke's, noted developers of such titles as EDF, Iron Rain, and other titles on there. So Arc System Works unveiled a new Double Dragon game. It's called Double Dragon Revive on there.
Such a great name.
And I know. It's coming out in 2025 for PS4, PS5, Xbox Series, Xbox One, and PC on there. So basically they want to have the quote-unquote same simple and intuitive gameplay from the classic games with controls and balance refined for the modern era. So it's going to be quote-unquote carefully crafted, supervised by staff with experience at Arc System Works fighting game titles. It's making it easy for new players to get engrossed with right away on there. The combat requires adaptation and variety much more than a simple button masher on there. So you're going to have to strategize, learning enemy patterns, and so on and so forth. So there was a trailer that was shown, and we'll have to see what happens. I know Arc System Works did develop Double Dragon 4, and I know Double Dragon 4 was kind of just warmed over, basically you might as well say it's a Hormel meal ready to eat, because that's how Double Dragon 4 came in on there. So I know you weren't too happy with that, with Double Dragon 4, right, Kev?
It was just an 8-bit warm over,
Yeah.
it's like, well, I still have my 8-bit Double Dragons. Thank goodness I never traded them back. So if I want to play those games, I can just plug them, dust off the old cart, and play them again. I'm intrigued by this, and I think it's going to be good. I'm hoping that it's going to be good. When they start talking about not a simple button masher. Double Dragon was never a button masher, even in the arcade. You had to execute certain moves to defeat certain enemies. The elbow was the kill everything move, but you couldn't just go up to a Bobo and just kick him. That wouldn't work. That doesn't work. So I hope that they're not trying to turn this into something it's not.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what I'm hoping.
I'm hoping it's just your modern left to right belt scrolling beat 'em up on there. I mean, with Streets of Rage did it well, but we'll see if Arc System works and Ukes can kind of lend itself on there. You got kind of a revival of this genre in a way because you get that Streets of Rage Revolution in development right now. I don't know if you guys know that there is a new Rival Turf in development too. So
I thought I heard
it's called Rushing Beat X is what it's called. So
fantastic name.
Rival Turf wasn't that great to begin with. I mean, it's okay.
Lo and behold, it's going to be Rushing Beat X, the return of the Brawl Brothers on here. So
hey, sounds good.
Ricky and Doug are coming back.
That's right. Bring them back.
Oh man. Well, I mean, the one positive is that the Chutosphere is already happy for Double Dragon because it has manly white people in it. So
there you go.
They feel represented. So that's always a good thing.
They feel seen.
Indeed. So we'll see next year once this comes up. Who knows? Maybe me and Des will see it at Tokyo Game Show. We'll
Joe feels seen.
I need to be seen. You know what also is going to be seen? That wonderful game known as Power World. So Pocket Pair has come up with agreement with Sony and also Sony Music Entertainment Japan and Aniplex has established a joint venture, Power World Entertainment Incorporated, on there, and they are going to make joint ventures into multimedia of the intellectual property, aka the stolen property from Game Freak and Nintendo.
Hey now.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
This includes global licensing and merchandising activities associated with Power World outside of the video game. So it's kind of similar to how the Pokemon Company was established to obviously market figures and the collectible card game and all this other stuff. But we'll have to see what happens with this. So Power World Entertainment's efforts will begin with the development of an exclusive merchandise based on the game, which will be unveiled at Bilibili World in Shanghai, China this week on there. So despite
Power World.
Yeah, they should buy some Shanghai Power World Pokemon for this game.
Shanghai Pokemon.
That is so appropriate.
Dangmon.
I actually went in and I re-downloaded Power World because the new expansion came out last month, of course, and they have dedicated servers on Xbox now, so they have new buildings and level cap. So
I'm waiting for it to be on your
PlayStation
system of preference. Once it's there, I'll check it out again. But as of now, no, thank you, Xbox. No, thank you.
Okay.
No, thank you.
So you think Power World's going to become synonymous like with the other Pokemon franchises, or you think this is like it's like Koei Tecmo like saying we're going to start releasing multimedia Monster Rancher?
I think this is normal. I think this is a normal thing that any company that has anything like this would do. So I'm not super surprised about it. I think I'm what's surprised about it, or why this made the news, is because of the fact that there is that controversy of stolen IP and stuff like that, and the fact that now they're able to actually market. They're actually able to market those designs individually, as keychains, purses, and stuff like that. So this is a no-brainer for a company like them, because if they're going to do stuff like that, of course they're going to try to make as much money as possible. That Craftopia game, no one talks about that, but that was theirs. And it was just a bunch of other games that were put together. So I'm definitely not surprised that this is happening. I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner. Of course they're going to try to get as much money off of this, and as they can, and we will never see another PAL World. Like, we're not going to see a PAL World 2. Come on, I'd be very surprised if we did. But no, they're and the fact that this isn't even out of early access is just bananas to me. So this isn't even a full game yet. But hey, more power to you. Y'all want to do this, then have some fun with it. Knock yourselves out.
More like the developer's gonna take that Sony cash, that Aniplex cash, and move on up. So
no, they don't need to. All they're gonna do, for the most part, is take all that money. They're gonna release little bits here and there, and people are gonna love it, and they're gonna take it, and they're gonna keep going. That's what they're gonna do, most likely. Because why would they do anything else? I don't want to sound so cynical, but why would they do anything else?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they're, I bet you anything we'll probably see a PAL World like show on a streaming service at some point. So
I don't think so. I think that they would love to do that, but I don't think that we're gonna get it.
Got
it. Unless they do make a cartoon, like and make it sound like Pokemon, and then have it be that.
But obviously, with the guns, they can't market it to kids. So
exactly. So, but that's fine. Do you know how many of these edgelords would love a Pokemon game with guns? Come on, think about it. Edgelords would freak out. They'd be like, "Oh my god, my Pokemon's got guns." They would love it. So whatever.
This is what's so crazy. It's like, even the article, the photo they used in this article, they got a Charizard that looks like he was left back in school. They got a Pikachu that looks like he's been ODing on steroids. And they got what, I forget that other one, that ninja Pokemon. He was blue.
Gurmon, the frog one. Yeah.
Yeah. It's him in a black and tan suit. I'm like, what are we doing here? This is just so. This is so crazy to me. I just don't understand how companies can just get away with just blatant infringement of intellectual property to such a level. It's just. I mean, I get it. They're in China. It's like, what are you going to do? But at the same time,
it's still pretty crazy.
I don't know. I mean, I in a way, I could see it's outright theft, and then another way, I kind of say, compare Street Fighter and Street Fighter 2 and Fighter's history. It's like I remember Ray back in the day from Fighter's history. All these characters.
Yeah.
Red Tornado.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that was Capcom clamoring to something that they couldn't control. You can't have claim to a genre. I mean,
same thing with
there was nothing even no. Ray didn't look nothing like Ken. Mizuguchi didn't look nothing like Ryu. Those were original. They were inspired by them for sure. But they were not blatant rips. This is a blatant rip. The same way that Terry Bogard and Andy Bogard are not rips of Ken and Ryu. It's
of course not. They're brothers.
They don't even look alike, bro. It's they don't even have the same move sets.
But people use that argument though. Yeah.
It's not a valid one.
Oh no, I never said it was valid.
But this is just blatant theft, straight up theft. I just don't see it any other way.
Maybe they could have made Pal World the creatures like all realistic looking instead, but who knows? Maybe they could have varied it a little bit, but this game is basically always just interesting to talk about for sure. So, what's also interesting to talk about is there's a new sequel to a game that me and Des played previously that was
quite a bit actually.
Interested, and a sequel to Journey to the Savage Planet is in development, and this is kind of a surprise because the original developer of the game, Typhoon Studios, was shut down back in 2021 on there. So because it was part of it got bought out by Google and the whole Stadia thing, and they basically just when they were shuttered by Google, they went ahead and formed their own studio called Raccoon Logic that same year. So, and they basically have the IP. And studio head Reed Schneider said Raccoon plans to build upon the Journey to the Savage Planet franchise in the future on there, and they are working forward at it. So it was reported back in May that the Canadian-based developer filed a trademark for a title called Revenge of the Savage Planet. So, and they are actually they made a casting call out for some voice actors on here. That's under the working title Lodestar, I guess. This Project Lodestar is what they're talking about. Is an indie video game, a follow-up to Journey to the Savage Planet on there. So, and they have like some request out for some voice actors in the game. So on there, I guess they're filming or getting some voice work on some of the commercials and infomercials in there. So
yeah, they do a lot of that. That's part of their shtick.
Yeah. So right now they did bring back Journey to the Savage Planet. It came back on Game Pass of all services. So since we talked about Game Pass, but once I saw this, it's like, I kind of played it for like maybe 3 hours and basically just kind of put it away on there. So that might be a summer backlog buster. I'm gonna check right now. Oh no, it takes about 7 hours to complete everything. If you play it to completion, it's around 17 hours. I don't know if that would be allowed or not. But
no. If you play it to completion and do all the side quests, that counts. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, side quests.
Who knows?
Also, that stuff counts, dude.
All right, good stuff.
Yeah.
But another game that we've talked about before on the show and played before, Greedfall 2 is launching into Steam Early Access. So Mars, they went ahead and decided to go ahead. What's the development studio's name again? It's like
Silver, or no, not Silver. It's
Spiders.
Yeah, Spiders. Thank you.
Yeah, so they are going to release the game on Steam on September 24th into early access on here. They basically want to do it in early access because they want to get feedback from the community first to be able to go ahead and see if they're heading in the quote-unquote the right direction. They're going to be relying heavily on early access to be able to collect like opinions from the community first on there. And they wanted to do this because the game's combat basically is something new that wasn't included in Greedfall 1 on there. It's a little bit different from the first game. So the Greedfall 2 begins 3 years prior to the events of the first game on here. So, and I'll have to take a look to see how much different it is, but basically they're going to leave it on Steam. Once the 1.0 launch is ready to go, they're going to obviously press those discs and release it on Xbox Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC. So,
someone want a new Xbox? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, there you go. So
get that Fire Stick.
Yep. So what you think on Greedfall 2? You gonna give it a go or keep an eye on it?
I'm a huge fan of Spiders. I that is an indie or a AA studio that folks really should back. Like they're out there, doing their thing. So I have to really say I really enjoy their stuff. So the fact that they're releasing this new game, I'm here for it. More power to them. I'll definitely check it out.
Wow. How long to beat for Greedfall? I was like thinking, this might be it. The main story is 74 hours. Main and
Yep.
extras is 485 hours. So.
Yeah,
Oh, wait,
it's
no. I'm looking at the wrong column. It's 23 hours for the main story. Main and extra is about the 42 hours. So.
Still though, it's a long game.
So.
It wasn't until I actually started doing this thing with y'all, the Bluster Blowout, that I realized like 20 hours is a long time. So it was like, And it's funny because like I'm playing Sea of Stars, and like I'll check my log, and I'm already like more than like 10 hours in. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, I guess because you break it up into little chunks, like you're just not sitting there for like 20 hours doing it nonstop. And like I'm not a streamer, but yeah, I can't imagine that. That's so crazy to me. But okay.
Well, speaking of Greedfall 2, there's also another European studio kind of releasing games in the same genre. Piranha Bytes, they unfortunately have officially closed on here. So this is another studio that got bought out by Embracer on here. But Piranha Bytes, the studio behind the games such as the Gothic series, the Risen series, and the Elix series, have shut down on here. So basically the company officially closed back in June on here, and some of the founders of the studio went ahead and they have founded a new studio.
Good.
Kind of from the ashes of this whole thing. I know from what was rumored is that Elix 3 was in development and was not greenlit by Embracer. So,
that's
unfortunately.
Why.
Yeah. So, but they have a new studio called Pithead Studio. So
I will back them.
Yeah, and so they basically announced their existence with a post on X and released a YouTube video discussing what's next for the studio on here. And they said that they're going to explain more in further videos on here. But I think they have enough ideas to where if they want to do something new, create a new game, kind of go from there. But, their IP, unfortunately, is still being used by Embracer. There's a reboot of Gothic currently in development right now. So it's just...
they're done with that stuff, though. So that's why I'm really super excited that they're going to be doing something else.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm here for it.
Yeah, so we'll see what's up, and I would say if you can take a look and see, because especially Elix 2, you could get both of those games for pretty cheap on there. A lot of the games you could get, be able to play. So if you appreciate kind of like some unique, I wouldn't say Eurojank, I don't know if it's as bad as like games like Two Worlds 2 from back in the day.
Oh no, it is way better than those games. Like this is they've actually stepped up the pedigree. So is it perfect? Hell no. But it's got that we can do it kind of charm that I really love. Same with Spiders. It's like they're up there trying, and they definitely deserve more support. So I was sad when I read that they were closing, and I'm just like, as even though people are like happy that sometimes these places get bought out by bigger companies because it might give them a little bit more of a cushion, but you live and die by your sales with these companies, and if you can't do it, they have no qualms with saying bye, letting your asses go. I swear to God, it's sad.
Yeah, I think they should basically let these companies kind of cook and let them bring unique elements, just like...
No, they want stuff that sells, point blank, period. It's got to sell. If it doesn't sell, get rid of it. And that's
same thing that happened with the whole thing with Volition and Embracer, about them being shut down after that Saints Row reboot that was just mediocre at best. So we'll see what happens. So, and then last but not least, kind of finish out the Jabroni gaming news for this episode. There's details right now, not announced yet, but a Aliens Fireteam Elite sequel is on its way. So, according to an unsubstantiated report on Reddit, so take this all with the usual grain of salt.
Unsubstantiated, yeah.
Yes, third-person co-op shooter codenamed Project Matacondo, is a new chapter in the Aliens Fireteam Elite series and expected to launch Q3 2025. On here, according to this, the sequel will quote unquote improve upon the mechanics, atmosphere, and excitement of the original. So it's basically on the sequel that it will feature fixed preset character archetypes and non-customizable characters, with each of the 5 archetypes: the Swift, the Deadly, the Silent, the Commander, and the Ranger boasting their own signature weapons and special abilities. And of course, they said that you're able to fight through a story campaign with AI companions or live players on here. So, it kind of sounds very similar to Aliens Fireteam Elite. So, we'll have to see what happens with that. But I kind of enjoyed that game. It was good. I wouldn't say AAA, but kind of good B tier Aliens romp on there. So, if this eventually comes to fruition next year, I'll be all there for it. So,
Same.
Yeah, Fireteam was dope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about the Aliens Infiltration game that came out. That's more of a strategy game, I believe. So, but that is the Jabroni Gaming News for this episode, sirs.
All right, thank you so much. Game night every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That is the day and the time that we set aside to interact with our growing gaming family on our Discord server. So if you like what you've heard here on the podcast and you would like to get more of that, I would highly encourage you to join our Discord. So you might be asking, how do you do that? Well, you head on over to the app formerly known as Twitter, currently known as X, and head over to @GamingVessels, GamingVessels. Click the link in the bio and you're in. So there is no merch that you need to buy. There is no Patreon tier list to pay for. We just ask that you just be a good person, likes talking about games, interacting and discussing gaming topics, and playing games. And I think if you meet that very basic criteria, I think you'll have a fun home. You'll find a fun home with us on our Gaming Vessels Discord server. So a special shout out to John BT and Crucial Chase for their responses to our vessel line for this episode. Big props to you guys. You guys have been longstanding members of the community, and we appreciate you being here, making our episodes a little bit more interactive and fun. So you are much appreciated for your input. So that is going to bring episode 253 to a close. We want to thank you for hanging out, cooling out, chilling out without a doubt with us. And so for Dez, a.k.a. the Bay Area Terror, a.k.a. the High Res Lover.
That's me.
A.k.a. the Cat Daddy, a.k.a. that Gamer Stepdaddy. And for Trader Joe, a.k.a. Jabroni Chief.
Yeah.
You might also know as a Food Max of Gaming, who can maximize your gaming dollar. I'm Shonuff71, a.k.a. Digadulamite.
Remember that purple bling bling, y'all? That's where I'm supposed to say this. Yeah.
And we'll be back next time, episode 254 for your ears. Peace.